Hey guys, welcome to the shop. Thanks for being here. Today we're going to talk about burrs. I've got a bunch of little tiny burrs here. They've all got that small 1/8 inch shaft. You know what? I've got a whole bunch of different grits. That's what we're going to be going over, cleaning up this carving, talking about them, showing you guys how they work, and yeah, be sure to stick around. Well, like I said, I got a bunch of 1/8 inch shaft burrs. Now the shaft is this piece here, and this is the head of the burr for all the cutting or sanding or shaping that you're going to do. Now these burrs are made by Saburrtooth. You guys can go on their website and purchase them, or you can follow the links that I have below to Amazon. Any purchases through the Amazon links help support the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, those links may not have every burr I have here because sometimes they don't match up, but I'll do my best to get you guys the same kits or something similar to what these are. Today we'll be using all the burrs in this Fordham flex shaft. Got my Fordham motor hanging up over here. This is the heavy duty square shaft, and I've got that attached to the 1/8 inch hand piece. This is a smaller detail piece compared to their 1/4 inch detail piece. All right, so I have one of each. This one is pretty nice though for real fine and smaller detail work. Now I recently carved up this nurse's symbol as a thank you. I did it in a thank you video. If you guys didn't see that video, go there, check it out. I have a link popping up here, or you guys can probably find the link at the end of the video. Now this piece is carved out of butternut. Butternut's harder than most of the woods we're normally chainsaw carving, like pine and things like that. And the nice thing is there's not a ton of sap. So I decided I'd bring it in the shop and we'd go through these different grits of burrs, because that's what I've got here. We've got whisper burrs, the whisper grit, we've got a fine grit, and then we have a coarse grit burr. Now the whisper burrs are something new from Saburrtooth. Those are the white ones. These are their finest grit that they currently carry. I've only done a little bit of work with them to kind of testing them out, and I'll tell you, they get your piece really close to where it's ready for hand sanding. Now, I've carved, well, finished carving, I guess, a couple things with those, and then I went ahead and used some 120 to finish sanding it out, and I'll say those did a pretty good job. I mean, I didn't have to really go to 80 grit. They're kind of, I don't know, I'd say they're kind of close to that 80 grit, maybe a little more coarse, but they work really, really nice. Now, the fine grit is the yellow, which that one's not yellow anymore, but this one is. The yellow, you're able to still do a little more shaping and sanding, sort of, but I tend to see a little more shaping out of it, especially when I use them in my die grinders on bigger pieces, and I'm using bigger burrs with the 1/4 inch shaft, like this. You're able to take away a little more material a little bit quicker than the whisper bits. Now, you go from the whisper bits to the fine grit to the medium. This is a medium coarse grit right here, the green, and they will remove material pretty quick at a controlled pace, I like to think, because it's removing a good amount of material, but it's not just hogging it out really, really fast. Now, Saburrtooth does offer a really heavy grit, really coarse burr. I've got one here actually for my Arbortech mini carver. This is one of their really coarse ones, and they have some other lines of very coarse burrs, which I haven't quite gotten into yet. I may in the future. We'll see what happens. But for now, we're going to go over the white, the yellow, and the green that they offer, and we're going to use those to kind of start cleaning up this piece here I carved out. Now, like I said, if you didn't see the video, go back, check it out, but I carved this up with the chainsaw. We drilled out these holes, and then I used the coarse grit burr to go through and kind of clean it up. I used the flame bit burr. I use that a lot. I use that to do most of the shaping and refining of this piece, and I left it pretty rough. I'm going to bring you guys in a little bit closer. I'll get my dust mask on, and we're going to go ahead and start with the green burrs. And we're going to go through and just kind of do some refined shaping and kind of cleaning up of this piece. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing, but maybe we'll at least start, you know, in a spot, and we'll continue in that spot right on through the different burrs. So let's get you guys in closer and see what we can do. I've got my Fordham flex shaft set with one of the flame burrs with the coarse grit. We're going to go through and just kind of start working on this snake. Now the nice thing with the Fordham flex shaft is I've got it on a pedal. You guys kind of see it creeping along there. This is pretty nice when you want to do a more refined piece and take your time. Unlike the die grinders I have, when they're on and they're full bore. At least this, I can control my speed and remove material as slow or as fast as I want. So right now we're going to get in here and kind of start working in around the snake's head. Alright, so hopefully you guys are able to see, you know, we're cleaning up and we're just refining the shape here a little bit better. Kind of smoothing it out a little bit more, getting rid of some of these really deep grooves that carry on down through here. And we're just, you know, refining the piece. So there's just a little bit with that green coarse burr. Now I'm going to go ahead, take that one out, and move on to the fine grit. That is the yellow burr. We're actually going to just put the same style bit right back in. I'm going to just use a flame bit. Saburrtooth makes all kinds of shapes of these, alright guys? So you could do all sorts of stuff. Here's some more of those green ones a little closer. You know, we got all kinds of different shapes, so no matter what you're looking to carve, I'm sure they've got the tool for the job. Let's get in here and continue to clean this piece up. as you guys can see, we're getting the piece more refined up here, and it's looking a bit nicer. It's more smooth. It's not so jagged like the other side. See, the other side here is pretty rough. You can see all those sanding marks still. And then this side, we're starting to really get rid of those marks. I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to see this on camera so you understand where I'm going with this. Now, we are going to swap out the fine grit burr for the Whisper. And the Whisper series, like I said, is new. This is the fine. This is the Whisper. Hopefully you guys can see, you know, there's a difference in the burrs and, you know, how they're set up. When you look at them, you can tell there's, you know, which one has more grit. So even though the colors are like wearing off mine, I can look at them and kind of tell what grit I'm looking at. Fine, Whisper, finer, coarse. So we're gonna go through, we're gonna just kind of do the same spot with this one, and it should take it down that much closer so then we could just hand sand it if we wanted. I guess you could go from the coarse to the Whisper. You might spend a little more time, you know, cleaning it and refining it. You know, I've got all three grits, so I'm able to just go right through the different grits and just clean it up that way. I like to work that way. I mean, in the past, I used to do auto body, painting cars and repairing cars. And when I did that, you'd have to do a ton of sanding. And so it stuck with me to work through the grits to get to your final product. You don't want to just go, you know, from a heavy grit to a super light and hope you're going to sand everything out, because with cars, it doesn't work that way. Now with wood, we do have a little more leniency, but again, you'll probably spend a little more time getting your piece refined if you don't have all the sizes to go through. But again, it's doable, you know. So I've got this all done here. I've got a piece of 120 grit sandpaper, used actually, but we're going to use it to go through and just kind of sand this up so you guys can sort of see how a final product would look like. Well, this is coming along pretty nice with hand sanding. We're taking out a lot of the marks. I'm not sure if you guys are going to be able to see them on camera, but we're taking out a lot of the marks that were left from the Whisper burr. Now, there's another way you could sand this, and that's by using one of these flap wheels made by Dremel, or you can make your own. Now, I have made my own a few times with scrap leftover cloth back sandpaper here out of a bit like this. Drill a hole, put them in there, and use that. We are going to take the Whisper burr out. And we'll put that flap sander in. So you guys can kind of just see, you know, you can go ahead and hand sand it, or if you guys decide to continue to use your Dremel or your Fordham, you're able to keep, well, you're able to use just another bit and continue to sand. Well, there you have it. I think you guys can see how nice this is coming along by going through all those grits. I mean, look at the difference, right? We got this real rough side over here to this nice smooth side here. Even in the wing, you can see where we went through all our grits and where we just left it with the coarse grit from the original carving from before. So using those to go through and really clean it up can be a great way to refine your carving. Now, this is not going to be something everybody wants to do. There are going to be people that want to have a more refined piece and really get into that detail work. And honestly, all these burrs here for that 1/8 inch, or with the 1/8 inch shaft, are a great way to do that. We can get into some really, really fine carvings, really small pieces, and add detail to them. Just kind of wanted to go over these bits with you guys, make a little comparison video, I guess, for you, and hopefully I was able to achieve that. Hopefully it made sense. I know some power carvers may be looking into some different types of burrs and be really interested in this. So any questions, you guys, please feel free to ask below. Again, if you guys didn't see the video on carving this up, this is the thank you carving to all the nurses out there video. I'll have the link here at the end, so check it out. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.